Nice.
Yeah, left the house at like 7 a.m. I think he's coming back. I don't know in what state. Probably about 11 p.m.
Alrighty, we are live. Welcome everyone to today's live digital marketing teardown session, strategy session, digital marketing workshop, whatever you want to call it. Let us know in the comments where you are tuning in from today. Freddie and I are very excited about the Euros started. Someone said, how long will it take for the live? About an hour. Yeah, we've got an hour scheduled, and we will sometimes go over a few minutes, but it should be an hour. So let us know where you're checking in from. And also, if you want us to review your website or your digital marketing, drop your URL in the comments. And we will do various lucky dips throughout the session. We don't have any sites lined up pre-planned today, so we are relying on you submitting your site for us to have anything to do whatsoever. Otherwise, we will just be talking about predictions for Euros. Justin's joining us from Cape Town, so welcome, Justin. Just one comment as well, if you're going to submit your site, if you're on YouTube, don't include the dot in .com or .co.uk or whatever, because then it won't show up. We got Dale from West Palm Beach, Florida. Hey, Dale, how's it going? We've got Eli from Sydney. Sydney. What time is it in Sydney, Eli? I've got a feeling that you're extremely hardcore one way or the other. Donovan says... Yeah, go on.
I was going to say me and Eli have had a chat before, so it was quite late when we spoke then as well. So maybe a bit of a night owl.
Yeah, respect, Eli. We got Perry in Florida. Is that Perry, Florida, or is that Perry in Florida? Not too sure. 10 p.m. Eli, solid. Legendary Models have submitted your site. Great, so we'll take a look. Yap from the Netherlands. Oh my gosh, Eli, you're going to be up till 3 a.m. What is this? Madness. Great. So we'll get Legendary Models lined up. Is this I'm guessing this is a .com. Let's just have a look. And tell us about your top digital marketing challenges as well. If there are any particular channels that you are curious to see how you could improve. Right. I actually know this space fairly well. So we're going to have a really good, fun time analyzing this. I'm going to share screen in just a second and we will start digging into this site. So as always, audience participation is completely mandatory. So if you see anything about the site that you think needs to be improved, then do share. So let's get this screen sharing on the go. Tortoise, you're going to need to submit again if you haven't already, because I'm not working from a pre-selected list. This is not the organized version that you're used to with Dale. This is the on-the-cuff, off-the-cuff chaos version. Okay, so we've got this site up here. Let me just remove some of these things so you can see it. First impressions, what do we think, people? How easy is it to tell what this website actually does? And Freddie, what do you think about this?
Yeah, so I had to sort of do a double take first of all, just to double check it was models and not the real card. Luckily, there was a hand chucked in there somewhere, so it's a little bit more obvious. But obviously, yes, from the logo. From what I see. Oh, am I still issues?
I think you might be having some broadband issues.
Hello, can you still hear?
Hi, Freddie. Yeah, I think you got. You're still here. I can just about hear you. All right. So, all right. First impressions on this site. I actually know this space fairly well. We've worked on some clients in this space. Can be very profitable. Google Shopping can be a great channel. Google Text Ads, not so much. Right. So the first thing that we need to do really is get people categorized into the particular, whether it's by collection or by mark or by model brand. You know, the first thing we need to do on this homepage is get people into the section that's most relevant for them. So I'd think about some sort of category buckets, whether latest offers is the highest priority there, or whether we might want to have, you know, shop by some of the most popular brands or marks, sorry, because brand will be the people that actually make the cars. I would maybe look at having some kind of categorization straight away above the fold on this homepage. The other thing that you don't have at the moment is some kind of nice, clear, readable H1 above the fold that tells people and Google exactly what this business does. So if it's like, model cars or precision model cars or something like that, buy model cars online, you might want an H1 that just does that job for you. Freddie, are you back? No, he's gone. Oh, there he is. I'm going to bring him back in. Don't worry, peeps. There he is. He's back.
Yeah, I think we're sorted now. Plugged it back in. Should be sorted. Off and on. The old jobby. What were you saying about the site, Tim?
Yeah, so we're just saying a nice clear H1 which tells people and Google exactly what we're doing, and then some kind of categorization, category buckets, preferably just peeking out above the fold here just to get people through to the right products for them. So this is going to be a fairly educated audience, I would imagine. So it might be that we show people the different marks, Lamborghini, Porsche, Ferrari, whatever, that they can click through, and you're going to use the most popular ones. Just some kind of categorization above the fold. What are you thinking?
Well, not dissimilar to what I thought when I first saw this, and it was lucky that there was a hand reaching over to the Ferrari to make it a little bit more obvious. But I think maybe just to make it more clear with the headline, like you say, with the H1, maybe a positioning statement just to make it super clear. They've got some great stuff though above the fold that's working super well for them. So the Trustpilot logo with the 5 stars. The benefits bar with things like next day delivery, how you can contact them, interest-free monthly payments. All of this is fantastic. And it's just given me 5-6 reasons why I should be staying on this site rather than looking at what I'm guessing is a fairly competitive area.
Yes, indeed. Okay, great. So Legendary Models have said the main problem is that very few people progress past the cart page. So we're going to go through the process of buying one of these. And actually, by the way, just to get a bit of context, when you say very few people progress past the cart page, what percentage are we talking, if you're happy to share that? Because that will give us a bit of context and we can give a bit of a read about how typical that might be across e-commerce. But what we're going to do, I'm going to go through the process of buying one of these, and we can see what feedback we have for them as we move through the stages and if there are any conversion blockers at any point through the cart. So how are we going to start this? Anything particularly taking your eye there, Freddie?
I think what I'd be looking for, now this isn't typically something I buy, but I think if I was going to be buying something like this, I'd be looking by brand. So by brand of car. So that probably is the first place I'd look. This
is one of the quirks in the model space, is that the brands refer to the brand of model and the mark refers to the brand of car.
Gotcha.
I think the audience, I'm trying to remember from our work with this client, I think the audience knows that. But even so, you could switch out mark by car model or car brand or car make or something like that. And it could be worth testing. But assuming people are finding their way through, let's say that we're going to go and buy a Lambo because we've been watching some Tai Lopez videos.
Knowledge.
Yes, indeed. Okay, great. So anything about this product page which is like screaming out, run for the hills?
So we've got a fair amount of product imagery. I guess scale, again, is the main thing here that I'd say. So the first 3-4 images, 5 images even, there's no identification of scale. I know we've got it in the product name, so 1 to 18, and in the description as well, which is great. But people, what they say, an image speaks 1,000 words, doesn't it? So if you've got an image that can give us some sort of, what does this look like up against, I don't know, someone's hand or a phone, or I don't know, something that's going to make it easy for someone to say, okay, it's this size, would be quite useful. What else should we be looking at here?
Yeah, so I think that's a really important point. And there's 2 audiences for this. There's the people who've got lots of model cars, and there are people whose garages are stuffed full of these and they're in boxes still, and they never get them out and they never play with them. And then there's the audience like me buying them because secretly I want them, but technically I'm going to give them to my little boy. And for me, I need to see that hand because I've got no idea. 118, is that is it that big? Is it that big? Is it that big? I actually bought a Mercedes from our client, and when it arrived, it was that big. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. I was expecting something tiny. So I think you could help out the uneducated buyer with that hand. I think that's a really good point.
I think maybe as well with this, I was just going to say product video could be something that might be quite effective, just to get a sort of an all-round look of the model, and so you get a real feel for it from all angles. Just having that interaction there can add a lot of value. And if you look at the likes of Amazon, most sort of e-commerce stores that are doing really well, they will typically have some sort of product video, even for lower cost items that are sort of, say, lower than 50 quid. You've still got a product imagery of video that goes with it.
Okay, so Legendary Model said there is a scale guide, which I've just clicked, and there's nothing there. But for an internet newbie like me, I didn't see that. And scale guide isn't necessarily the sort of thing I'd be looking for. Now, I know that don't let them think. I love that. That's a version of don't make them think, but actually don't let them think. I much prefer. Great comment. Product video is really difficult for this space because there are loads and loads of SKUs, and you might not necessarily have lots of them in stock. So this is one of 500. They might only have a few in stock. So I can hear the objection coming from the screen. There's no way we can make product videos for all of these. What I would consider doing is the best-selling products. There's going to be an 80-20 thing going on, right? Where they're going to be, people are always going to be buying whatever it is, Aventadors, or, there's likely to be the most popular products. And I'd make videos for those and maybe not the rest. But setting up some kind of turntable, a little bit like the actual car sellers do, just so you can make those product videos really quickly would be great. Dale says, product videos. On my page, every single product has a 1-minute product video above the fold, right above add to cart. It's increased conversions dramatically. Great testimonial there for product videos. When I talked to, I can't remember the guy's name, but conversion optimization for skis.com, he said 30% increase in conversion from product video. So, all right, let's go through the process of buying this then. So we've added it to basket. When I added it to basket, I'm not sure if there was any kind of visual cue. So I think we've got a 10% checkout from basket, which isn't devastating, but it definitely could be improved. So what have we got here? Right, this looks like a pretty standard kind of Shopify checkout experience, which isn't too bad. Like we've got shopping, we've got, all right, let's just, I'm going to put all my details in here. Apple Pay is great, PayPal's great. I would maybe look at Klarna and ClearPay and Lay-Buy and things like that. Depending on the cost, I think it would be worth testing because obviously they have huge user bases and people that don't need to think about it, they're just used to buying everything through Klarna. So I'd maybe think about adding those in. The only other thing I would suggest is that maybe there is some sort of information here. In fact, I'm going to have to because I need to see how much shipping is. All right, let's just do this. The only other thing I was going to suggest is some kind of testimonial, some kind of credibility device here, which is like how many, what your Trustpilot reviews are or anything like that. So if people have lots of them added to cart on different tabs, they can, when they see yours, they're like, great, well, we're going to get from here. I'm just going to
definitely agree with the Trustpilot reviews there. Potentially even, what else could you be doing here in this section? Just actual reviews as well. So rather than just the 5 stars, the customers and what they've said with a written testimonial too would be really useful.
All right, let's see if we can do this. All right, let's see what the shipping is like. Because this, I'm wondering if this could be a blockage. Okay. What are we thinking about those shipping rates, people? So for those in the US, £8.66 is like $11, $12. For those in Australia, £8.66 is like $400. I don't know, maybe 16 or something like that. So we've got an express shipping, which is maybe like $10, $11, $12, and then we've got a standard, which is about half that. What do we think about those shipping fees? If you go to the cart page first, you can see that Legendary Model says, okay. Hello, Sarah. Expensive shipping cost. Jake says. Dale says that's not too bad. Okay. Considering what you're purchasing, I'd say it's reasonable. Tortoise Property says, okay. Yeah. What do you think, Freddie?
Yeah, it's an expensive product for the size of it. So in term, obviously it's engineered and it's meant to be like that. So it makes sense with the type of product it is. I guess the main thing you'd want to make sure with this type of shipping of this type of product as well is that it's going to be looked after, it's going to be handled. So if it's clear that it's signed for, it would make sense that it's a little bit more expensive compared to, say, the sort of free shipping you'd get with, I don't know, the likes of Amazon. The thing is, most sort of companies now, they do offer free shipping over a certain price point. Is that something that this business offers? I don't think it is. But again, that could be an opportunity to even push the average order value up if you do offer that at, say, £150, or I don't know. You'd have to work it out based on trying to push that average order value up. That could be an opportunity just to actually see a better average order value and more sales coming through.
Yeah, my main concern is here, depending on what's average in the space, particularly with the one that goes 866 being defaulted, and I know you want to upsell that one, so I know it makes sense to default to that. My main concern is I see that and it makes me just pause. It makes me pause for a second. Don't let them think, someone said in the comments, and that just makes me go, like, if I was actually shopping through this, I'd probably go, just going to go and have a look. I'm just going to go and open the Amazon app and see if it's on there, because I know I'll be getting free shipping. And that's my concern. So yes, whilst we might in isolation say, do you know what, that's a fair price. If you're imagining someone going through the mindless process of shopping, anything that you do that makes him just go, oh, it's just a little pattern interrupt, it just stops me from going straight onto that button and going, yep, cool, just breezing through here. So that would be something that I would consider testing. And I don't know if you've tested free shipping over whatever, but like Freddie said, that can actually be an opportunity to increase average order value, particularly if you put your free shipping above, just slightly above your, is it your mode? The most common purchase price. So let's say that, you know, of all the purchases that are made on the site, most people make a purchase of around £45. What you might want to do is put free shipping above £50. So those people that are just kind of on the edge, then they're going to buy something else while they're here. May as well. I was going to get this anyway, just to activate that free shipping. And then what happens is the higher shipping costs actually do you a favor, because that's more perceived value. Great, I'm getting this £8.60 shipping, next day shipping. That feels like high perceived value. I'm subconsciously taking that cost of the shipping off the cost of the extra product I've bought. So now it feels like a discount rather than something that I was going to have to pay for. So I would just think about how much of a priority is it getting the profit margin on that shipping versus, you know, what you might be able to do with conversions. And at the end of the day, it's not an emotional decision. It's a test financial decision. If you're offering free shipping, the free 2 to 3 day shipping, you're taking £4 out of the profit of every order that you're making. Does the conversion rate pay for that? That's the only question that you have to answer, and that tells you the future. So that's the thing I would test, and then come back to us and let us know so that we don't have to run the test for ourselves. Comprende? I know the Royal Mail has done a lot of studies on this, and they found that free shipping massively increases conversion rate. The other thing to consider, I mean, if you're less competitive on price, or if people are price shopping these products, then, you know, obviously you can't add the shipping price to the cost, because in a Google Shopping ad shootout, you're going to lose. If yours is 136 and everyone else is 132, you're going to lose that battle. But if they're not price competitive, or if you do have the opportunity to add that shipping cost onto the product cost, then people are generally happier to pay for a more expensive product, thinking that they're going to be getting something else rather than paying for shipping, which Amazon has on the whole conditioned us should be free. Okay.
There's two other things here I think that could be useful too. So one was picked up in the comments by Alamin. So they've got a promo code box on the right-hand side. And again, this is another tiny pattern interrupt where people will potentially go and have a look for a promo code. They might scan through the site, they might look for that, and this could just interrupt that flow of them purchasing. I'm not sure if it'd have a massive impact, but it could be something just having less priority on the page of, especially with how big that apply call to action is as well. Although it's not visible until you type something in, I assume, it's still one of the biggest boxes on that page, at least in terms of depth. The other thing as well, just to highlight the value here, is on the product page, you did have the original price. So there's a discounted price already. I'd include the discount they're already getting on this page just to highlight that value already too.
Killer. Absolutely killer. Love it. Yeah. Payment, I wouldn't default to direct bank transfer. That's a little bit confusing. It forces an action. You're going to default to credit card, presumably, because I would imagine that most people aren't going to be direct bank transferring. I don't think I've ever purchased anything through that method, e-commerce ever. So yeah, few things to tweak there. But on the whole, I think you're reasonably well set up. So for driving traffic, Google Shopping we found to be very good. The audience targeting is going to be challenging. We found that automated targeting tended to work the best for this, but it took a long time to educate the Google ad account. But once it got there, then we could scale it very profitably. So yes, okay, great. Let's move on to the next site. Anybody want to submit your site? Drop it in the channels. We've got Tortoise Property. Let's do Tortoise Property because they mentioned that. Tortoise Property. So look,
I've got this open in my other window. I'm intrigued to see what your first thought is, Tim, because I think it's going to be the same as mine.
Oh, I like this. Marketing teardown. What is it? Russian roulette? No, it's like a shootout.
I think there's a big thing that's really clear just straight off the bat, and that is
the thing that's going
look
in
how
my
narrow
head
it is.
Is redesign. But yeah, other than that, white space definitely unnecessary.
Yeah.
This is like it's like looking at it's like looking at the tablet version of the site on a desktop.
Yeah, exactly.
So totally get that not a lot of your traffic is necessarily going to come from desktop potentially. But given how this performs on desktop, you probably hope that it would be. So first thing, redesign. Just going to say it how it is. This needs to be I mean, pretty much everything that we're looking at here, from the logo, which is red and black, which signifies danger. I'm, there are ways of kind of making red and black look compelling. Yellow and black, i.e. But even so, I think there's something about this which doesn't feel like estate agency. The estate agency you'll tend to find is more this kind of color scheme. It's the blues. It's the the more kind of natural tones. This is quite aggressive and in your face, which I think could potentially work, but perhaps needs refinement. I don't know. What do we think? Drop your comments here. Dale says responsiveness scales pretty bad. Would agree. I actually think that's a generous assessment.
I've got a task for you to do, Tim. So if you click on the menu icon on the top right.
Yeah. Why is there two menus?
Just click on that.
Well, whoa. Oh, dude. Okay. All right. So, yeah. Right. Manon says, I don't know where to look. Yeah, that's a good point. So, I'm trying to think of, let's have a look at estate agents. Actually, we're a local estate agent, all right? Free online valuation. We can do searches, book a personal valuation to let search. Okay. Right. Let's find.
I'm thinking Hancock and Partners.
Agent. What's that?
Hancock and Partners is a good one to look at. It's one that we've done before.
Yeah, I need to sort out their Yelps. Is this one of our builds, do you know?
This is one of ours, yeah.
Okay, right. So very, very straightforward. Clear description of what the business does. Call to action. Anybody know what the call to action might be on this site? We've also got a keyword optimized text copy there. Now, the menu system here, buying, selling, renting. So this is the mindset that people are in. I'm buying, I'm selling, or I'm renting. We've got valuation, selling, buying, landlords, tenants. So this is like, well, landlords would be renting, tenants would be renting, landlords would be letting, right? So I think about being consistent about the terminology that we're using, so people aren't having to flip between. It reminds me of a sign I saw in a shop window, which was something like cocktails, canapes, funerals, events. And I'm like, you're comparing different things there, and it's difficult to process that. I think about how we can just give people the same framework to choose from.
I think there.
Go on, Freddie.
I was going to say, in terms of what's good about the site, though, because I feel like we've been a bit harsh. The customer reviews, those being pulled through, are great. So that's something that is great. What else do we have that's good?
I mean, there's personality, right? There's a video of a person, which, the whole estate agency world is just, how can we appear to be these massive companies? And, that doesn't necessarily inspire the confidence that people think it does. So I think having a person there is really good.
Definitely, yeah. I think
the video's not going to work in this format, so carry on, Freddie.
I was just gonna say, I think that the key thing here is making sure it's clear what you want someone to do next, and that's the main blocker right now, because we're looking at this and what we can see are 1,000,001 stats. I don't really know what I'm meant to be looking at here. In reality, either looking to buy a house, sell a house, rent out a house, or rent a house, I guess. So there's like 4 main areas, isn't there, like we've already gone through. And typically you're going to want to funnel people through to those main services. I think that's where you want to have your main services just about visible above the fold, so people can actually go and have a look at those and click on the one that's most relevant to them. I actually have no idea where this particular property company is based as well, and that's a major issue, especially if you're typically working with a local company. You want to know that they work in your radius, and that's something that's just missing at the moment.
Yeah, so it opens on PE2, so I'm thinking maybe it's that particular area of Peterborough, but then it changes in different spaces. So yeah, but I'd agree. You've got 4 calls to action, right? You've got the buyer's call to action, the seller's call to action, the renters, and the letters. So each of those is going to need a different CTA according to what they are. So the name of the game is, just like an e-commerce site, you want to get people through to the right section of the site for them. And from there, you can show them a tailored CTA according to what it is, what the next step is for them. But yeah, I think this needs what I would do with this is I would sit down with actual paper and a pen, and think, if I was selling or buying or renting or letting a property, what's the information that I would need in order? This is what we do when we're wireframing a website. What's the information that I need in order? And can I put that on a page in the order that I'm thinking of it? And then what's the call to action? What's the next step that we want each of these people to take? How can we phrase this in a way that is appealing and compelling for them and makes them want to take that step? And then I would, the challenge that we've got here is, we're like, the logo is really important. Yellow and black, whoa, 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 really important. The menu's really important, whoa, whoa, whoa. And each of these, they're all really, really important. And everything is really important. And it's everything louder than everything else. So, you're going to have to sacrifice things. The most important thing is the call to action. That's the thing that you want people to do. So that should be the standout. That should be, the strong accent colors. And then everything else just needs to, chill out a little bit, if I'm honest. Like the Tortoise property menu logo, just chill out, dude. You've done your job. We know what the site's about. Now it's time to convert people. So, right. Tortoise says, on that basis, Tim, if you're thinking of selling a house, would you mind them visiting the sales page? Yes, let's do it. Freddie, we're selling the Ninja Mansion. Selling a property, our difference.
I'm actually looking for houses at the moment, so it's a fairly relevant site, but let's get in the selling mindset. Okay, then.
Right. So we're selling. So we got this house. We're like, property market is peaking. We want maximum monies. How are we going to do this? What is Tortoise going to give us that, the more recognized names that we know nationally aren't going to give us? So selling a property, our difference. I would just remove that completely. It doesn't add anything at all to the consideration. The hashtag, I'm not going to go on Twitter and post about it. So just no. Estate agents in Peterborough. Great. Okay, right. So we're in the right place then. Right.
I think
the trouble is all of this copy is so generic. Go on, Freddie.
I was going to say there's a massive emphasis on a few key areas that you do, but I don't think they're massively different to any other estate agents out there. So you're obviously looking at the current property market. You want people to get a valuation. The tortoise versus the hare doesn't really add anything until you give it some relevance in terms of we don't rush things. So maybe that's a better way of putting it. And then next steps, does that take us anywhere? I'm not sure what I'm meant to do.
Yeah, you're right. It means something to the brand and to the person who wrote it, but to the audience who's not familiar with this, it's like, is that a story? Is it a parable? I know the story. There's no incentive to click it, is there?
Not at all. And I think the main thing we want is if someone is just looking to, let's just imagine, right, I'm trying to sell my property and I've found a few different local estate agents that I want to get a valuation from each different one just to see where they're pricing me up in the market. And that's the reality of it. You want to get more than one usually just to see. The main thing you want is just to be able to contact them and say, could you take a look at my property and how do you work and how does it and what sort of percentage are you working on? And those type of questions and what's involved. And above the fold is the first place to do that and make it clear and have a call to action. And it needs to be whatever your typical sales process is. So if it's requesting a callback, just make it really easy. Add a form in that says name, number, and priority time to call. And it's that simple. I think you've had to scroll pretty much all the way down to the bottom of the page to see a call to action. And I'm still not 100% sure what the call to action is.
Agreed. This is a really simple thing, right? We're really good at our jobs. We're absolutely relevant for you. Book your free valuation. Like, it's a pretty low commitment call to action because, like Freddie says, when you're selling a house, you're going to get a bunch of valuations from the people that you think are going to be able to get you the most money, right? That's really what we're all about. So the fact that you've got properties down here selling for over asking price, I would just think, like, what are the 4 things that you're really confident set you apart from your competitors? It might be our average sale in 2021 was 101% of asking price. Like, if you've got a stat like that, or 10 properties so far this year sold at over asking price. If you've got a stat like that, that's fantastic, because that immediately gives me a reason to say, great, okay, well, I'm definitely going to contact these guys. Then how are you generating that? Is it because you've got 4K HDR photography? Is it because your brochures are freaking amazing and really well designed, which, by the way, is another reason why the first impression and the overall look and feel of the site, someone said it's not generating confidence for them. One of your jobs is to make things look nice. So immediately that's giving me a little bit of anxiety over, okay, is it going to kind of look like this? Now, I don't want to be nasty, but I do want to be completely honest, because that's going to be useful. So yeah, I think about, what are the 4 things that you can tell someone? And then those are bullet points, really straightforward above the fold. We are expert local specialist estate agents. We're not big nationals. We're not some franchise that doesn't care about you. We're specialist. All of our people live and work in this area. We know it inside out. We're specialists in Peterborough. Here are the 4 reasons people choose us. Book your valuation now. And then what's going to happen with the valuation process? Someone's going to arrange a convenient time. You can do it online if you want, instead of, in person, all that type of stuff. But this should be fairly straightforward. You should have a decent conversion rate from driving traffic to this page. I suspect you won't, because like Freddie says, the call to action is hidden.
It's hidden.
It
is. And if you click on one of those, I've just done it on my browser, but if you click on one of those click here's, again, we need to make it relevant to what the next step is. Click here is not a call to action at the moment that's relevant ever. Yeah, no, this is and this feels completely different, and I know that this is going to a different portal or some sub-site or whatever, but it's really ugly, if I'm honest. Really ugly. We need to okay,
Yeah, it's a no from me. So yeah, needs a bit of work here. I'd go for redesign. But the good news is that with a redesign, you'd expect a significant increase in conversion rate. This is what we call a low hanging fruit opportunity. So, yep, good stuff. All right, should we move on?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Someone else dropped a site in. I saw it. Someone dropping your site.
Yeah. I was going to say, keep dropping the sites in. So website and then add a space .com or .co.uk or whatever you are.
Yeah. Yeah. So lose the dot in .com. Otherwise, YouTube will go pummel you. Eric Schmidt will be around with a baseball bat. Okay. I'm sure someone dropped in their site. I'm just having a look at it. Boss Talk, I make money online. Was it you? Started my business at 13 and started to learn website. Would love for you to check it out. Your video is very helpful. Drop it in.
We've got one just submitted called createdbymagic.com, which is an e-commerce design site, award-winning designs.
Okay. First impressions, people, drop it in the chat. Go. Freddie, I'm vibing. I can feel what yours is.
Can you? I think you know what I'm going to say, don't you?
Is it a 4-letter word starting with F? Font?
Oh, no. Oh, actually, that's a good one. Oh. No. It was a 4-letter word beginning with L.
L.
Yeah.
Confused.
Should I say it? I
think hit me.
The logo is too big.
Yeah.
And it's taking up a lot of space that could be used with an easier to read font in that above the fold section where we can actually see what that says. My eyesight is not too terrible. I think it says create a unique bespoke print from your photograph, but you can see how to really look at that to see it. I know I'm looking at this on a slightly smaller screen, but yeah, imagine how other people are trying to look at this and read it as well and trying to understand that.
They won't try. They will look at it and go, nope. And they'll just keep scanning. If you look at someone's eyes when they first land on a page, it's like, right? They're not landing on something difficult and spending time. They're gone. Like a bee with flowers. So yeah, okay. What are people saying? There's some pretty savage feedback here. Color scheme needs to be changed. Boring. I mean, I think boring is a little harsh, but there you go. You know, if that's what people are feeling. Dull. The logo is too big. Someone says it's eye pleasing. Yeah. Above the fold. This amount of white is a waste. Yes, that ties into your thing, Freddie. Logo's too big. Someone says, what does it look like on mobile? Let's have a look. Well, okay, on mobile, that big logo gets even worse because look at how relegated the menu has been. Considering the menu is people's way of finding their way around the site, we really, really need to think about our prioritization here. It's not a massive menu, so there's not loads and loads of options, but we need to make that much bigger. And I'd potentially just, shift the Created by Magic into this top header piece. And then you can make this menu like a full width button that says menu. Just make it really straightforward. Mobile website design is so much less about design and so much more about usability than desktop. So generally any decision where you're trying to decide between design versus usability always wins. Now it should always win anyway, but on mobile, design doesn't even get a look in, right? It's all about usability. As long as the design isn't suppressing conversions by looking horrific, then yeah, just crack on with the old usability. Okay, so what are we actually doing? What is this business? I'm not entirely. I think that is the value proposition, isn't it? Create a unique keepsake print from your photograph, right? So what I want to see, photograph, an illustration of the process. You send photograph. Step 2, we work on it. Step 3, someone's face with the amazing thing that you've designed. Like that immediately sells us on this concept. This is the sort of thing that can be illustrated really nicely in a short video that just auto plays with no sound. And it could be amazing, right? This is, you know, particularly with the pets thing, people freaking love this stuff, don't they? You send in your photo, you get a beautiful piece of art like this. Like, this is cool. I would buy this, but I wouldn't have looked into it from the homepage.
I was going to say this would be a great sort of secret Santa gift for some of the ninjas here at Exposure Ninja, with all their cute pets. Hopefully no one's watching this from the team in case they've worked out what I'm going to get for next Christmas.
That's a very good point. It's a great Father's Day gift, isn't it? And we've got that here. So like social ads, I don't know what you're running. We're going to have a look at some social ads in just a minute, and maybe have a look at some competitors as well here. Okay. All right. What are we thinking about product pages and, you know, information about the process?
Hang on. Could you just scroll back up again? Because that was just looked really strange. So yeah, we've got some sort of issue there with, I don't know if it's just the way the padding's been done and it's squished things down, but you don't have any content on the right hand side, which is where we typically have. Yeah, it's just been pushed down like below the fold.
There's too much.
There's also yeah, and it's great that you're making it clear that it's personalized, which is awesome, and you're uploading the image, you're doing it all on that same page. The only issue as well then, where is the call to action to actually purchase it? Where is the add to basket? So it's in this on mobile, I think you're about a third of the way down the page already just to see that, which is way too far down. It needs to be above the fold, which is what we'd say for pretty much any platform, any device you're on. And the reason for that is because if people don't see it, they will just take the easy option, which is to not look for it and go somewhere else. Yeah, it's a little really small tweak that can have a massive difference.
Yeah, that's really important. And you might say, oh yeah, you know, this is designed for mobile. Yes, it is designed for mobile, but actually the issues are just as bad on mobile, because we don't get any headline, we don't get any product headline here at all. We've still got this logo taking up what's likely to be half the visible screen on a, you know, a smaller iPhone. We've got so much white space here. We've got these images which are just echoes of the main one, and then like Freddie said, we've kind of dumped this this add to basket button way down. It's also purple with white, so which actually it stands out less than this this attention grabber at the top here as well. So yeah, I would really think about layout here. Let's see if we can find a great example of this. I think we've reviewed one of these before. Let's just have a look.
I'm trying to think. I'm just thinking of like Thoughtful and the card company. That's the sort of first one that came to my head. But obviously a little bit different.
What would you say? Personalized photo. What would you search for? Hive Mind, what would you search for if you were going to look for this product? What would you search for, Freddie? I'm struggling to figure it out.
I'll be honest, I'd probably see this on an ad and click on it and go through to it, which is I think where there's a massive opportunity for it, especially if you can target people who have pets, or even like Father's Day coming up. It's a really good opportunity to, well, yeah, most people would be looking at getting some sort of Father's Day gift, or some people would be. Yeah, it's a massive opportunity, and personalization, I think we know, is really, really hot. And if you can get something that's more personal, people will pay a premium for that compared to just sort of a generic type gift. So I guess the keyword have to include personalized in it, wouldn't it? Personalized portrait, maybe personalized drawing.
It's like people are saying personalized pet portrait. Yeah, I've typed in personalized dog painting. Okay, let's have a look at a site like this. I mean, they're running ads, so you know that they are. You know, this is a serious business. 1,000 reviews. You know, they are not going to be running this at a loss. You would hope. You never know these days with they're freely available private equity money, but they're probably not going to be running at a loss. So really straightforward headline, turn any pet into a work of art. And obviously this would only be one section of your site, but very straightforward. Like, we get it. We can see the different options that are available. You can, this is all about qualification, right? They're saying these are the outcomes and these are the inputs, if you like. So it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy to understand. Let's see if we can find.
I actually love this.
Okay, great. So we've got the before and afters here as well, which is a superb way of, oh, dude, this is to sell a product, which is so easy to communicate. Yeah, okay, pretty straightforward. Everything is above the fold, like Freddie said. We've shrunk down this menu, just like Freddie said. Damn, Freddie knows all the answers. We've got straightforward payment options here. Got some instructions as well. Let's just go through the process. So the upload there is grabbing my attention over the add to cart, but then it kind of needs to, because that is it's a step that you have to take.
Yeah. It's also good as well. I think they've probably added in that good versus bad option, because they were probably getting a lot of low quality images coming through, which probably ended up costing them more money than having to sort of redo the order. So it makes sense why that's there. I think it could look a little, it could probably look a little bit tidier. I think that's sort of my one thing I'd say there. It just looks a little bit bunched, but you've only got so much space to deal with. And I'm sure they've probably tested how wide they can get the product imagery compared to the content on sort of the right-hand column, maybe.
It's very true. So actually on this, on mobile view, they don't, if I was building this site, if this was my e-com site, I'd probably put the heading maybe above the image at the top there. But you can see that they've tried to compress everything as much as they possibly can. They have definitely gone for user experience over, making this look beautiful necessarily. But it's pretty good. Like, there's nothing on this page. If we were analyzing this from a conversion perspective, there's nothing missing, right? They've got credibility. They've got information about shipping. So that'll be amazing. It's really fast. I'd probably get a benefits bar underneath that actually explains how long this whole thing takes. And I don't believe this for a second, because it keeps jumping up and down. That looks like a complete farce. But I think this is really good. I mean, look at that for credibility. What does that tell you? That tells you loads of people have done this. They all really enjoyed it. This is a safe bet. So they're removing any fear. And when you're buying a gift, that's one of the things you're fighting against, particularly if it's a personalized gift and if it takes a period of time. You might only get one shot at getting this right for Father's Day. So you've really got to get it right. This tells me I'm getting it right. I don't need to worry. This is going to be absolutely fine. All of these people did the thing I'm considering, and they thought it was a good choice afterwards, which is all you can really hope to do. And I don't get that sense from this. I get the sense that I might be one of the first people to do this. And that feels a little bit scary. We've got a couple of customer reviews, but they don't look necessarily as real, I'm going to say. They probably are real, because you would never make up a username like that. But if there's anything that we could do to make them more real, like bring in the Google reviews or bring in the Facebook reviews where there's an avatar attached, it just feels a bit more personal. Shush, Siri.
I think one of the valuable things about the reviews from the other site as well, where people are submitting their own product as part of that review, and it's because they're proud of it. They're so excited to own this and to sort of verify it that they've then taken a picture of it, added it to their review, which I think is quite powerful.
Absolutely. So what I would do is I would buy one of these if you haven't already, and look at what their follow-up process is afterwards. Because my guess is that if they're generating a volume of these, they're somehow having to incentivize people to do that, because it's relatively, getting reviews on any of these review platforms is like getting blood from a stone anyway. Conversion rate is really low. So to have people actually submitting their pictures either tells me that these people are like freaking mental, or they're so happy with the product, or there's some kind of incentive thing going on. So I would maybe, just buy it, sign up for anything that they do, and see what the process is that they're using to get these things in, and then just basically copy it. Okay, how do you drive traffic to this, Freddie?
Facebook and Instagram ads. If you're trying to get quick traffic coming through, for sure. It's just so visual. It's so eye-catching. I think there's the chance of me not stopping on a dog that is in a suit of armor is pretty much 0%. So there's I'd 100% stop and look at this. I think that's part of it. When you've got a good product, it makes it so much easier to make it eye-catching. Interestingly, with what that first a couple of those ads have showed up is that they don't actually make it obvious it's a print, like in a frame, which I think would probably make it a little bit better, a little bit more appealing. But you can see how even just using that image is going to probably encourage someone to stop, which is the first task you really have when it comes to a Facebook ad. If someone doesn't stop, they're not going to click through and click on shop. So that's really the first step. Now, alongside that as well, you can see what they're doing effectively with this is they're already talking about some of their main selling points, which is free delivery, the turnaround time, I think as well, they might have there potentially. And they're all of those things there are making me think, okay, it makes sense for me to click on this because why wouldn't I? Look how awesome this looks, and it looks like a really simple process, even just from that ad.
It's very true. It's very true. So yeah, I definitely run some ads. I'd also contact people, influencers, anyone who has like over 1,000 followers, particularly if they often post about their dogs, or they're a dog fluencer or a cat fluencer, or any of these. Which, for those who don't know, some people's pets have Instagrams, and those pets post as here I am lying on the ground in the sun, right? That is a thing. So these are dog fluencers, and I would find dog fluencers and offer them a free portrait, and then say, when they post it, we'll pay to boost your post. Okay, so then you would post it, and they would obviously have tagged you in the post that they do. You would boost that to their audience, or to to people that are most likely to be in that space, or whatever, and then you're getting visibility through them. They'll be linking your handle in the post. The other thing I might do is find the owners of like whatever that dog is. I don't really know anything about dogs. So let's just say that was a white Labrador, right? Let's say that there's a white Labrador owners group on Facebook, and there will be that if white Labrador was actually a dog. But let's say that there was a white Labrador owners group, and I'd find out who the big players in that group are and offer them some stuff. If I was feeling really ninja, I'd set up white Labrador picture groups and pages on these channels, and I would own those channels, or I'd go out and buy those channels from people that set them up, and they built up a following, and now they just hate it because they have to post 3 pictures of white Labradors every day, and they're just done with it, and there's no money in it. And I just offer them a few grand for the thing, and then I would run ads to that audience showing pictures of white Labradors that have been portraitified. Yeah.
Did you say portraitified?
Portraitified. Yes. That's exactly it. Yeah, so they're running Facebook ads. They look to be reasonable. It's exactly kind of what you'd expect. Like Freddie says, I would imagine that actually the framing piece is quite a big part of this. I'm wondering if they do actually frame. It looks like they do. Yeah, they sell the frames as well. Yeah, so it is curious that they haven't done that, because that is obviously going to be a much more premium product. Like that looks more user-generated content, so I'd imagine that sort of thing might have a better click-through rate. It also shows you before and after. But yeah, your route to market is fairly straightforward, as are the tweaks that you need to make. This is great. This is the video that explains it. Yeah, there we go. She's done it. Oliver, and now her dog loves her. Sweet. He's like, what are you doing? Right, okay. Someone said, please review my store. Storesta store. Okay. The URL is giving me all sorts of flags, but let's have a go. Storesta store. Oh, store.store. Okay. No, it's a no. This is not good. Okay. There's elements of this which aren't awful, but unfortunately they are significantly outnumbered. So, yeah. No. What do we think, people? What can we do? Someone says, oh dear. Yeah. This needs redesigning, but not only that, it needs this needs a business plan, right? Unless this is massive, it's going to be very difficult to compete just selling mobiles and tablets. You're going up against people that have, they have advantages in the margins that they're buying. They have advantages in the volumes that they're selling. They're able to negotiate better deals. Very, very difficult. If this is like a drop shipping business, then again, very, very difficult to make any headwind in something like this. If it's not, then we need a way of categorizing people immediately that's a bit better than this, because this is a nightmare. This menu feels like it's broken. Yeah. I can't click on these menu items. This is unreviewable.
Yeah, I think this is what happens when people look at the we'll often come up with sort of tips and tricks and ideas to help improve the conversion rate of a site. So we'll say, make sure you've got your call to action above the fold, make sure you've got say live chat, you've got your pop-ups working, and all of those little things, those little tweaks and changes that can be made to help a business sort of take that next level. Like you've said already, I think that it's the actual business itself that needs to be thought about more so than the website. And in this case, so it's obviously for a different market. I think it's for the Indian market. But I'm assuming if someone's looking to buy a phone, they're probably going to be looking at the. There's a few options really. Getting it secondhand, so from someone on like Gumtree or something, or if you're buying it new, you're probably going to buy it from the supplier or like the equivalent of Carphone Warehouse. I don't know what that is in India, but that's it's. I'm struggling to see where this fits in sort of in the market.
Yeah, very difficult to compete. And what you got to think about when you're starting a business and you're going online, you got to think about where are we going to get traffic from? Like, what is the traffic plan? If you can't afford to run PPC ads immediately, that makes it quite difficult to get traction because you're just relying on organic. And my feeling might be that you might struggle to run PPC ads to this because, like I say, you're competing against people with much more budget, with better margins, selling the same product. So you're already starting at a disadvantage. Now, I could be wrong. You could be doing, millions and millions a month, and this could be absolutely huge, but unlikely. Okay, let's move on. Let's do this one, which someone just mentioned.
Loving keep up the dog theme. So
yeah, I mean, right. So we're selling luxury dog beds and accessories. I might get that as as a title here above the fold in this menu section, in this header area here. I'm guessing we've got a different site on mobile because it doesn't look like it's resizing well. But I'd say the product photography is excellent. This really makes me want to buy, and the aspirational setting that they're in as well, I think, is perfect. Really, really good. So I think you've done a great job with photography. The time and energy you've invested to that is superb. And that is a great demonstration of what it's all about as well. Really nice way. You've got credibility here. This is good. This looks sort of like user-generated content. Gives me the impression that it's popular, but it's all really good quality. I think you've probably taken it all yourself. Yeah. What are we thinking here, Freddie? What can be improved?
You've already picked out quite a few things that I'd definitely recommend. So positioning statement. So just explaining what they sell with a call to act there. So shop now typically works quite well. I think if we're going to compare it to maybe a website that we've done, I'd look at caterpillar.com as one to compare it to. And you'll see that's something that's really important with the way they market themselves is they're going after the luxury market. They're explaining the key benefits of their products, and they're also talking about the outcomes as well. So the fact that you want your cat to be happy, healthy, all of those things, those sort of emotional ties that you then think about when you're buying this product. And so you're putting sort of the luxury and the happiness of your cat, or in this case, your dog. And obviously something like sleep, which is so important for humans and animals, where this is something where you need to sort of tie that together. And that's your opportunity with the content on the page, with just the wording, to get that across. I'd agree the imagery is pretty good. I have tried to look at this on a mobile on my laptop as well, and I can't see it resizing at all. So I don't know if that's, I'm wondering if this is it a Wix site maybe? Sometimes they have issues resizing. That's the only thing I can think
There
of.
is a separate mobile site, which I think maybe the layout hasn't been as well thought through, but we do go straight into we do go straight into product categories. So I think you made a really important point there, and that's that there are ways of, this is a luxury item, but that doesn't mean you can't sell it in a logical way. So you're selling sleep, you're selling cleanliness, you're selling reliability built to last. And what you can begin to do as soon as someone lands on the page is give them the ammunition. Like, they want to buy this. If you can give them a different way of thinking about it, so that this isn't the equivalent of the £10 bed that's going to come next day from Amazon, because it's going to last longer, it's going to be cleaner, it's going to be more comfortable, more relaxing for your dog. You know, these types of things, you're giving them, you're adding more and more evidence to the argument until they get to the point where they're tipped and they'll buy it with very little price resistance. So I think you have the opportunity to do it. It's exactly the same as Caterpillar, where we're trying to sell a cat hammock or a cat scratcher for £50 instead of £5 or a tenner. So how do we do that? Well, we do it by selling the benefits of your cat being healthy and happy and able to explore and the aspirational design side of things. So I think there's a lot of parallels. Let's go and buy one. Let's go and buy a roll mat. That looks really cozy. My white Labrador would love that. This is great. So these are the benefits, isn't it? This is fantastic. I'm digging your work. I think we might need to think about fonts here, font sizes in particular. That price is tiny. I don't mean the cost is tiny. I mean, that price is so small that if I'm, one of my parents, I ain't seeing that. So we need to, make it easy to read. I mean, this is like a long form sales letter. It's kind of interesting. Maybe get another call to action at the bottom of the page. This is a really non-traditional product page or product category page. And I don't hate it. It's just unusual. There's a lot of info here, which I think is great. It's like the copy that you put at the top of a product category page, but that is the whole page. So it's really interesting.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's the same product, right? But it's just different color. So yeah. Would it not make more sense to include all of that content on a single product page? You're reducing the number of steps people need to go through to actually just go and buy the product, and they're getting all of that content on that one page. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Tim.
That is an excellent point. You're looking at a single product microsite. So what that essentially is it's like a super product page where you basically make it's a long form sales letter, a little bit like this, with all the illustrations, all the demonstrations, with a buy button that maybe follows them down the page as they go. And that, you call it a microsite because there might even be different pages within that site. So I think you could definitely take that option. This feels like an unnecessary step when that choice is just going to be a color selector somewhere, isn't it? It doesn't necessarily have to be a separate product. I've got no idea really what medium, small, and large is. I guess I know the size of those dogs, but maybe if it could be shown against something that is more familiar, like a brick wall, where I know the size of a brick and, I can just get it immediately, might help. Oh, we've got that there.
Yeah.
Again, illustrate it, because I'm a dirt brain.
I was just going to say, I think this product page is probably the worst page so far that we've seen on this site. I'm not sure if that's the limitations of the platform that they're on at the moment and what you can actually get onto that type of templated type site. I'm not sure. It just seems like it's all squashed in, and it doesn't seem to have the photography that works so well in the other elements of the pages. I don't know if that's just me being really super critical or not, but
well, I think you make a good point, because if you're running a shopping ad, you're going to be driving through to a product page. And if you're driving straight through to the product page, if the cold traffic is coming onto this page, they're going to miss out all of the gorgeous photography that we saw on the home page. They're going to miss all of the description and the illustration of all the things pointing in on that category page. And they're going to come to this, which does feel much more generic. And I haven't been on that journey. You don't have all of that sort of stuff. Like if I was coming through the home page, by the time I got here, I'd be buying. If I just come direct on this page, I'm thinking £109 for that. What? Like you've completely, like, the sales process has been lost, and it's just like throwing someone into a pool of cold water. So yeah, I would totally agree. And it might be that adding a buy button to this page makes a lot more sense. You've got the size and you've got the color selector, but that's not a problem. I think this is great. This is all the reasons why you can buy this, given that you want to. And I think that's exactly the way to sell it. So yeah, would agree. Okay, that's about all we've got time for. T or F, cold messaging is so 2019. Not sure what that means. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining us today. It's been great fun. Dale should be back next week. If we didn't get a chance to review your site today, then you can request your free website and digital marketing review. I'm just trying to make that fancy banner go on. Request your free website and marketing review at exposureninja.com/review. And one of our amazing team of consultants will film you a video showing you how to improve the volume of leads and sales that your website generates, and some traffic stuff that we haven't really spent too much time looking at today. But they'll show you different traffic channels that you can use to get more sales through your site. That is it for today. If you like and subscribe this page, then great things will happen. I can't tell you what, but they will just be great. So please do so, and drop us a comment if you're watching this on the replay with any questions that you might have, and we will come and answer them. Other than that, have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today, Freddie.
Thank you very much for having me.
And see you all next week. Bye.
See you later.